Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be ranking the decks in the metagame, but not the current metagame. No, we're looking at Stellar Crown. And so, some decks are going to get better. I don't know exactly how the decks are going to get better. I know there are new decks, though, and also this is not my tier list. This is a tier list created actually for a regional tournament. I think, first, like, regional in Stellar Crown. I don't know, but this tier list that I'm going to be making is not that. It's going to be just ranking the decks on how good they are for general play. Also, I'm going to change this tier. It's called Rogue instead of like F tier. I'm going to change it to F tier. Like, being a rogue deck doesn't mean you're the worst deck. It's just kind of like in general, it's like less played, generally like viewed as like certain types of decks as well. But generally just like less played, but doesn't actually mean you're a worse deck. So this is just going to be based on how good they are, as opposed to, like, I don't know, how play they are or whatever. But yeah, let's just hop right in. As I said, didn't make this tier list. I will have it linked down below. But the tier list, because I didn't make it, means that we'll see if I know what all the decks are. Sometimes, they're all just one card, so sometimes they're a little confusing. I'll start with decks that are not new. I'll save the new decks till the end, though. Also, make sure you don't skip till the end of the video because then I don't know. I don't want you to skip to the end of the video, but then you might get confused. Sometimes people are like, "I'm confused why this is this way," but they skip the entire video. So, like, of course you're confused. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's just hop right in. So, I'll say, and I'll describe the tiers as I place stuff into them. S is obviously like the very best of the very best. We'll see what I have in there. A is very good, still like very much competing at like essentially the highest level. B is going to be like still very solid decks. I feel like the 10th best deck will probably be in B tier. We'll see. It might be in A tier. I think it'll be in B tier. C, these are like okay decks, nothing like super special. Probably have some issues, have some high upside as well. Oh, also none of the decks are here. I'm just like looking, like Assun Zorik, V-Star is not here. I don't know if Palkia is here. I don't know. And then D is not good. It's not like terrible, but it's not good. And then F is bad. Like F is definitively bad. It's like you can be okay with the D tier decks. You can't really be okay with the F tier decks. So, Ancient Box, I think, is a B tier deck. I'm not exactly sure what the meta is going to look like. Trap Ghost is bad for it, that's the big deck from the Stellar Crown. So I'll actually quickly talk about Trapagos, just what it does. And Stellar Crown is essentially the same as Stellar Miracle. There are lots of cards from Stellar. So Stellar Crown is the international set or English set coming out in it's September 13th, I believe, and it is made up of Stellar Miracle, which is a Japanese set that came out on July 19th. So a bit of a wait, like a decent amount of time ago. And so there has been some tournament data from this set. This set is only 102 cards. Stellar Crown, which is like the international set, is much bigger than that. It's not quite twice as much, I don't think, but it is much bigger. But the cards that are being added are not good. Essentially, all of them aren't good. Tell me down below if there are any that are good that I'm just like, because I haven't been really paying attention to them very much. I just have a general idea, but the ones that I know of are bad. But so Trapghost EX here has its attack. Oh, that's not English. It has its attack, Crown Opal, which is the one I'm going to talk about now, which says 180 during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. That's obviously bad for basic decks like Ancient Box. There's not too much you can do about that. The deck, at least from what I've seen now, has like essentially has no gusting. I don't know if it actually has any gusting. I guess it has like Iron Bundle, which I guess works, but that's just once, maybe twice, maybe three times. So even three times is still not enough. Like, you need to do it like five times or something. So that's bad for it. It's not a bad deck, but it's just an okay deck. Right now, I think it's a pretty solid deck, but I feel like B tier is where it'll end up with the next set. It's not getting anything new as far as I can think of. Anything new that's at least particularly good. I mean, the new cards are very good, but they're only good for certain decks. They're good for a lot of decks, but not this deck. Bayonet EX. I think this is Bayonet Dusknoir. I don't know, but I think it's Bayonet Dusknoir. And so Bayonet EX, you got Item Lock, obviously. Item Lock is like okay. It's really against Stage 2 decks, but Stage 2 decks they're only okay, I feel like, with Stellar Crown. I think basic decks are going to be good. In terms of good new items, there is Glass Trumpet. There are some other ones. Wait, no. Yeah, there's only three here. So there's this one, which I think is kind of good, but it's not great. Glass Trumpet is really good there. That's an insanely good card, and stopping that is nice. Stopping Noctowl engine to some degree is nice, which is an engine searching for trainers, but it searches trainers, not just items. So Bayonet isn't going to be doing everything, but I think it's solid. Solid for like a, I described it as a rogue deck, so at this point, I'm going to put it in C tier. It is a slow deck. It slows your opponent down, but does it slow it down to your level? I don't know, not always. Incidentally, it is really bad against Ancient Box. Like that's just horrible. That's like so bad for this deck. And then Roaring Moon EX as well, which plays the single price Roaring Moon, but the EX is still bad for it. But um, it's not like as bad. You can like beat it, but the single price Roaring Moon you can't beat. But I think that'll slow down. But I just don't think Bayonet's that good. That's like damage, big damage attack is based on cards in your opponent's hands, specifically trainers, and that's something they can generally play around to some degree, and certainly you can't rely on. Then the item lock attack is only, it's okay, it's not bad. Dusknoir, it's good, but I don't know, I just don't really have faith in this deck. And then we have Charizard. Charizard is gonna be S tier. It's already one of the best decks in the game right now. I think it's like top five. I'm trying to think of the metagame. If we look at them decks, it's what is this? I'd say here. I'm gonna look at the online metagame. So here's one. I'd say Regidrago's above it. I think a lot of people would say that. I'd say that I'd probably put Lugia above it. I'd put Iron Thorn. So I'd have it at 4. I don't remember where I put it on my tier list. I'm gonna put it at 3. It doesn't really matter, does it? But at the end of the day, it's a very good deck, and it's going to get better because it's getting this. It's getting a few cards. There's a bunch of Terra support, but I think the best one is going to be Briere here, which says something. It lets you take an extra prize if your opponent has only 2 prizes remaining. So that's really good. Charizard DX sometimes has like awkward prize situations. A lot of decks do. Charizard DX sets that up, but you'll definitely have games where you need to take an extra prize. You're just like short. And you can also pretty easily control the prize trade, especially with, or at least your opponent's prize map because of Dusknoir. You can kind of force them to do certain things that they might not want to do. You can force them to enable Briere, so that's like really insane. You can do really crazy pushes with that, and I think this is the best deck to do it. Really, I think it's the only deck to do it. You look at like other decks playing Dusknoir. I guess Dragapult can do that, but Dragapult needs more stuff to like actually get set up. It's not that bad. I think Dragapult's also really good. But Charizard with Dusknoir with Briere, I think it's like so insane. Just like knocking out everything, taking extra prize. It's really, really good. Then technically you can use Briere multiple times, but that's probably not happening. Champion Excalibur, is it getting anything new? Let me take a quick look. Looks like not. Nothing that I can think of that's like that good for it. And then it's getting the Klinklang, which is accounted to Champion Excalibur. I forgot about this card. This card is okay. It's not great. I mean, it's very good against Champion Excalibur, but Champion Excalibur I don't think is that good. I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it's just an okay deck. It's a pretty generic deck right now. It can take one-shots. There are a lot of decks in the game, though, especially with the new format, that can take one-shots or like have higher HP. So it's like okay, but it has its issues with relying on stage 2 that can have issues, specifically a single prize stage 2. But then the bigger issue is, you're walled by Trapagos, and you're just kind of inconsistent throughout different points in the game. You're pretty good, but you're not like, well, you're inconsistent being able to pull off everything you want to. For example, if you need to Radiant Greninja a turn, you might not be able to do that, or do certain things, right? So it's not a bad deck by any means. It's an okay deck, but it's not a great deck either. The Dialga V-Star, not great. I'm just gonna put it in C tier. I feel like it's kind of playable. Of all the V-Stars getting better, which there are a bunch, this is not one of them, as far as I'm aware. Like you could do like Crispin or like something weird like that, but that doesn't sound very good. So I guess you do Arcaludon, but like, I don't know. I don't think you're putting Arcaludon in your decks. It gives you like free, which is like kind of fun, but also it's pretty niche. So yeah, I think and that is an addition. I don't think it's getting anything particularly special right now. In the next expansion, Paradise Dragona, which is actually coming out the same day in the Japanese set, but then Surging Sparks, it will have like the Arcaludon EX, which I think is nice for it, but you don't have that now. So it's going to go in C tier, which is not that bad, but it's not great either. Then we have Dragapult EX, which looks very like shiny, maybe like so is Charizard. Dragapult, I'm gonna put in, is it S tier? I think it's good. Yeah, I'm gonna put Dragapult in the S tier. You got Briere, which is like okay. It's not great, but it's not great for this deck, but it's okay. But then the best card in the set, maybe not the best card, but the best card for Dragapult in the set is going to be a Sparkling Crystal, which says attacks of Terra Pokemon of the Terra Pokemon this card is attached to cost 1 energy less of any type, which will be I don't know, one of the ones for Dragapult, right? Then you just pay the other with just a basic energy. It's like Neo Upper Energy, except it's almost directly better. Someone said that like it's about as good as Neo Upper Energy. Oh no, someone said Neo Upper Energy is better because it's 2 energies, not one. But that is your attachment for the turn as well. So if you actually attach energy from turn, then it's just as good. And the reason I think this is better is because you can play an Arven and then grab yourself Sparkling Crystal. Oftentimes with Dragapult, you'll have like an extra tool search at least some point throughout the game. But especially if you get that early on, you like draw your Force Seal Stone already, or you just can't use Force Seal Stone for whatever reason. It's prized, you can't get a V in play, things like that. Then you can go Sparkling Crystal, and it's a free tool search. And it's one of the best tools. It'll probably be the second best tool in the game behind Force Seal Stone. I don't know what all the tools are that are like good. The Force Seal Stone is by far the best. There are other like good tools, but yeah, I feel like it's like definitely the best. I mean, being an A spec just means that you should be better than other tools, so it is. The fact that it's not better than Force Seal Stone is kind of crazy. It's an A spec, but it's not the best tool. But anyways, it is very good. It's going to help that deck out a lot. It has a lot of issues. Dragapult EX setting up turn 2 and attacking. It can do that, but it doesn't do it all the time. Now it can do it much easier as well. So I think Dragapult EX is going to be in an insane position with Sparkling Crystal and giving a lot more value to the tool search. Espathra with Xatu? I don't know. I assume this is Espathra Xatu. This like deck isn't very good, especially against. It's not good against. It's really bad against Dragapult. It's not like particularly good into the metagame right now either. Like it theoretically is good against big basic decks, which are pretty good, but also it's not good against Iron Thorns because the ability doesn't do anything. It just turned off. It's not good against maybe it's okay against Miraidon. I don't know. It's not like great though. Your damage output's kind of mediocre. It's okay there. But it's not really insane in any matchup. So kind of go into Charizard, but they can get the extra energies. Also, sorry, I'm kind of tired if I'm talking kind of funny, but yeah, it just like isn't great into anything right now. It's a deck that I thought was really cool, and I did think it was really good at the time, but now I think it's just okay. Oh, Palkia is here. I found it. Next we got Galvantula. No, I'm gonna skip this till the end. I'm gonna move all the new decks to the end. I think there's well, some of them are like just generally new ideas, but there's 4 brand new decks. Gardevoir EX. I don't think scanning anything. Well, there is the Slowking, but that's its own deck. There is Iron Boulder, which is like kind of fun. It's text here. It's 170 for 2, but you need the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent. I think that is doable, but it's probably not worth it. Like it's gonna have 100 HP or maybe 120 after accelerating, but that's nothing crazy for the fact that you need this like kind of weird setup. Oh, there's this like Drifblim that's like a card. It's not very good, but I guess Gardevoir's the only place I'd see you play it. But yeah, Gardevoir doesn't really get very much from this new set, which is okay. But Gardevoir's like an okay deck. I'm gonna put it in B tier though. It was from Twilight Masquerade. I think it was definitely an A tier deck. That's almost definitely where I'd put it. It's the most clear A tier deck probably in the game, but now it's just going to struggle, not really get anything new that's going to help it that much. I don't think it's going to be amazing. It's not great against Dragapult if they're consistently attacking you every turn. It's not great against Charizard if they're taking extra prizes. Like that, your whole advantage is that you're attacking the single prize and all of a sudden you're not. I mean, you are, but then all of a sudden your opponent's taking extra prizes. So like, I think it's going to have some issues there. Again, your attackers are mostly basic, so Trapghost EX will be walling them. Like, there's just a lot of issues. It's not like it's going to be a bad deck or fall into obscurity, but I'll actually put Ancient Box above it here. The tiers are, like, kind of ordered, but whatever. Gholdengo EX, I guess it's C tier. I don't know. Like, what is there to say about this deck by now? It's just a whatever deck. You could put a Caledon in to get, like, Free Retreat or whatever. But it's okay. It's not a bad deck, but it's not that good either. What is this? Is this Firebox? Is this wait? Sorry. What is this deck? Is this Lost on Radiant Charizard? Gouging Fire EX is like a Firebox deck. Firebox isn't very good, right? Let's be honest. It's not like the worst deck in the game or anything, but it's not great. Especially in the meta, walling basics. I think Trapghost EX will be quite good, but not like insane. But it will see a ton of play. I think not necessarily at like. It depends where you're playing and like what the circumstances are, but I think it will see insane amounts of play at when it first drops at least. Because it is a good deck, but we'll talk about that. But It's not like why this deck's so low. It's just not very consistent or powerful, or it just doesn't have any really good factors about it, unfortunately. Great Tusk Mill, I guess, is C. It's not great. Unlike what its name suggests. I feel like putting Great Tusk with Ancient Box is like fair, but also that's just Ancient Box then. Greninja EX. It's not great, I'll put it in D tier. I think it's a really fun deck, like with control the options, and there are certainly a lot of control cards from this set. Like, let me see, let me just count the first 10 that I see that are like definitely just pure control or stall or mill. So we got this card is pure control. This one's like pure control, but it's really bad. So we got this one, which is pure control. This one, no, this one is pure stall. We got a lot of these like can be used for control though. This one's a stall card. I'd say it's a pretty like pure stall card. We got this one's like a control card. It's not just a control card, but it's like best as a control card. Control card, control card, and I don't know. I don't know if that was 10, but there's definitely a lot of cards that I control, and then a lot that are like semi-control. They can help control. This is like pseudo control, pseudo control. And then you have, oh, this is control. I forgot about this card, pseudo control stuff, or like not necessarily pseudo control, but can be used in control. So you get a lot of different control options in this set. So Greninja EX, if you're playing that with control, I guess it's better. But like, let's be honest, Greninja control ain't great. No, I'm gonna put this in F tier. I love this card, but it's not good. Unfortunately, in the current metagame, at least, it's not good. People are playing bench protection. Froslass is not great, especially with the stage 2. You play Froslass if you compare it with cards that are really consistent. You don't play Froslass if you compare it with some card that's already inconsistent, right? So then we have this deck. Is this Blood Moon Ursaluna? I'm gonna say this is Blood Moon Ursaluna with Iron Valiant. I don't know. This deck's like not good. I'm gonna put it in F tier. I've never really. I think I played against it once or twice. It's like really bad. It just doesn't work at all. If it's some other deck, if it's like Donk, like Donk's also F tier. I don't know what deck this could be. If it's like Future Box, maybe that's a little better, but it's not great. No, Future Box is this deck. Yeah, I'll just put this deck here. Sorry, this is not that. Yeah, I'll just put Future Box in like D. Future Box is not a good deck right now. It just doesn't have anything particularly good about it. It's not like terrible, but just play Miraidon over it. Yeah, and I mentioned Miraidon. Miraidon's gonna be an A tier deck. No, is it A tier? Yes, A tier because it can get off to a good start against these weak like single prize Pokemon that start the game that you start the game with, and it can take 2 prizes every single turn to eventually just win the game, and there's not much you can do about it. So if it sets up, it's a little inconsistent for getting that every single turn. Same thing with Raging Bull Ogerpon, which will also pop into A tier. I feel like it has. I'll put it below Miraidon. I think that's like where I'm sitting on with that deck now. Then the last turbo deck, I guess, is going to be Roaring Moon EX, which is also an A tier, very similar decks. You can really arrange these however you want. Iron Thorn GX, while we're talking about these, the world champions, the ones that saw play in the top 8. We got Iron Thorns. Iron Thorns is how is it into the meta game? I'm trying to think. Like it's not that good against Dragapult. It's not that good against these like big basic. It's okay against these big basic decks. I'll put it in A tier, I guess. I mean, it's the ladder legend, right? It's like super broken on ladder, but this isn't ladder we're talking. It's not just ladder. It includes ladder, but it's not just ladder. It's a good deck though. I mean, it's not gonna like fall off with a new set. It's a pseudo control deck, so you can put in some of the control stuff too. Then we have the other deck, the other really good deck, which is Draco V-Star. I think this is going to be the top of A tier. I don't think it's as good as Dragapult EX. Dragapult EX has really high HP. Being able to use Kyurem and Regidrago V-Star is like good, but you don't have the consistency of Dragapult, which I think Dragapult will be very consistent with the new set. Being able to use Stellar Crystal or no Sparkling Crystal or whatever, and I don't know. I guess it's okay. I think people will be targeting V-Stars more potentially. I think V-Stars will be much better with this upcoming set. Not Regidrago necessarily, but other V-Stars. In terms of dragons, I don't think there's. There's like one new dragon, which is not a very good card. It's not a terrible card, but I don't think you're putting it in Regidrago V-Star or Raging Bolt. You could put in Raging Bolt as well, but it's okay. It's an okay deck. I feel like it's not. Having that same level of really high upside, and also like Manaphy counters Kyurem. Yes, you can do Canceling Clone, but that almost never happens in my experience playing with or against it. Like I've just never seen the crazy Canceling Clone Kyurem plays on Manaphy in games that people actually set up, actually are able to attack like after the Kyurem. And so like I don't know, I feel like it's a very good deck, right? It's a very good deck, but it's not quite S tier for me. Then we got Kingdra. I mean Kingdra is like not good, right? Kingdra just is not a very good deck. It doesn't really have any strengths. It has like high HP. It's like Chien-Pao with higher HP, and then also it's a stage 2, right? So that's where it is. But Chien-Pao's like okay, but it being a basic, it's what makes it kind of run because you already have a stage 2 like support Pokemon or engine or whatever. So then you have Kingdra EX, which is another stage 2, and now you're just like completely it's not good, right? We got Lost Zone, I think 2 Lost Zone builds, so we got Lost Zone Radiant Ninja, no, 3 Lost Zone Giratina, Lost Zone Radiant Treasure, and regular Lost Zone. Regular Lost Zone, is that getting anything new? I'm not sure. I mean, there are obviously cards you could put in. Nothing that's like inherently awesome for the deck either. Oh, I didn't say for Charizard. There's like the tree card or Dragapult as well. There's the tree card, which is like kind of good. Lost Zone, it's fine. I guess I'll put it in A tier. It's a solid deck. Lost Zone Radiant Charizard, I think it's a little weaker. You'd have like less upside, but it's still good. I think Lost Zone, like Lost Zone Box, people are really down on it because of Kyurem. I certainly think in the next metagame people won't be. Lost Zone Giratina is okay, but there's not too much reason to play it. It's not a bad deck though. B tier, certainly very solid. We got the Okidogi EX deck with the Loyal 3, Pekka EX, that kind of thing. It's a solid deck. I'll put it in C tier here. It is able to do things okay. When it goes, it's very solid. Okidogi EX is a very solid like turbo basic attacker. Then the Munkidora EX is also somewhere in that turbo basic attacker role, but also it is essentially a single prize Pokemon. So yeah, some really solid upside of like it's like playing Roaring Moon with Roaring Moon EX kinda, but also it's not very consistent and it has no engine really. It has like a very mediocre engine and it just has some issues, right? It's just not a great deck, but I think Okidogi, or I guess like what Loyal 3, Munkidora EX, that deck it's a solid deck, but it's not a great deck. Lugia V-Star, I'll put an A tier certainly. I'll put it higher than this. I want to take a look at the new cards, see if there's anything that's really helping, and no special energies that I don't know, none that are from the Stellar Miracle set. Um, it's like fine. I mean, nothing like crazy. You could put Trapgas EX in, I guess, but I don't know. There are some like kind of fun concepts you could do with it, but you're not gonna be doing those to be honest. But I think the thing you want to be doing is, oh no, there's Mo-Rotom. I forgot about Mo-Rotom. Mo-Rotom is a counter to Lugia. It's a solid one. So Mo-Rotom I think is a really good card. Not a really, I think it's like a solid card. I'd say it's like 3 out of 5 or something, which is not bad. This is just got all tools and special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Lugia traditionally has a very good control matchup. I think this card's going to really help control against Lugia. Like, control, when I play control, I play it some. I don't play it all the time, but I play it some. My least favorite deck to see is probably Lugia. Playing against Pekka EX is also very difficult if you're trying to trap Pokemon in the active, and it depends just on how that's going. Like single price Roaring Moon is kind of hard to beat with control if you're not playing Noivern. It's essentially unbeatable, but with Noivern you can beat it, right? So Lugia though, there's not too much you can do. You could try to Temple Sinnoh and Giacomo and stuff like that, but that's not really going to work all the way. They'll bump the stadium. They'll just attach their energy before Giacomo. Like they literally have to do that. So now what, right? You're just like so like Lugia's insane against that, and if Lugia sometimes has early game setup issues, but you're not able to punish that because you're control. So now though with Mo-Rotom, I think that's a solid counter, really forcing your opponent to do somewhat awkward plays, going in with like Chinchino. That's something I like to do. It's generally very safe. Now it's not going to be safe, so that'll hurt it a little. It's still A tier, but I'll just put it at the bottom of A tier here. I'll put it above Lost Zone actually, but yeah, just here. Normally, like before that, it was probably it's like top 5. I'm just going to have it outside the top 5 now, though. Then we have Meowscarada. Meowscarada's not good, right? It's not a good deck. I don't think it's getting anything new. You got the tree card, I guess, but that's not very good. Origin Form Palkia V-Star. We haven't talked about the stadium yet. Area 0 under depths. There we go. Which says each player can have 8 bench Pokemon if if you have a Terra Pokemon on your bench. So that's really good, allowing you to be hitting, more damage because it's based on bench damage, or bench Pokemon. Damage is based on bench Pokemon. So it's going to be really solid. I think it's actually going to be top of B tier deck. I don't think it's like some amazing deck your opponent can just like hold back on their Pokemon. Like they're not going to fill their bench up, but you're going to be hitting, I think your like minimum, assuming you have a full bench, your opponent has none, is 220. Then if they have, let's see, how much do you need to like one-shot Charizard? Then you need how much you need 340, which is how much I'm thinking that's like how many? Sorry, I'm like not thinking very well. I think it's like six bench Pokemon, which is like absurd. Like your opponent is not going to be playing six bench Pokemon against you because like obviously that's like so bad. They don't want to do that. Um, so like you're not one-shotting Charizard DX and stuff like that. I think you're just not doing enough damage, even with the new stadium. Like it is very good, but I don't think it's quite good enough. I think it's gonna be okay if people like Palkia V-Star, they'll like it, but it's nothing crazy. Pidgeot control and Snorlax control next. We got these two, and they are okay. Snorlax isn't in a great spot in the metagame. It's really bad against Iron Thorns EX, really bad against Pekron EX, and not great against Pidgeot EX. I don't know exactly what Dragapult EX plays. It can play Xatu. I think Xatu Dragapult's really bad. I think Pidgeot EX is the better way to play it. But you can TM Evolution. But then Charizard EX isn't like super great for you. It's not that bad. It's like kind of interesting. I'm not super familiar with. Uh, no, I've played the matchup a good few times, but there's so many ins and outs of that matchup. It's not like a great matchup. It's there's like a I don't know the matchup odds, but there's a lot going on there. It's really complicated. So Snorlax is in an okay spot right now. I'll put it like bottom of B tier. No, I'll put it bottom of B tier. I feel like that's fine. The B tier decks are pretty good. Um, and it's a pretty good deck, but nothing. It's not a top 10 deck now certainly. Also, it looks like the top 10. I don't know. We'll see. I imagine the top 10 is going to be here then, I guess, because I know there's at least one more deck in A tier. So, or A or S. Then Pidgeot Control is. Pidgeot Control's got to be better, right? Like, it's getting so many new cards. I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it actually. Let's see. I'll put it there for now. There's so many good control cards. I feel like it's got to be like really good. I'm gonna put it at the top of A tier. I think it has the potential to be a really, really good deck. I've talked about the set a lot. I'm a massive fan of control. I'm not the best control player or a deck builder, especially for that matter. But I imagine the control players, they really like to mess around with the new cards. There are some really good ones. I think Pidgeot EX will be able to be the deck that can make the best use of them. Potentially like handlock stuff. I'm going to say just toss handlock into Pidgeot. If it's hit Pidgeot EX with handlock, then I'll say that it's that's what it is, right? So it's you have it's like Salazzle with I don't know, like you can turn one Salazzle, get rid of your opponent's entire hand or something like that. That's I don't know, that's like it's close to Pidgeot control. That's like kind of silly, but it's if it doesn't play Pidgeot, it's not Pidgeot control. But I think there will be Pidgeot lists that are going to be playing Salazzle, which I think Salazzle is super broken. I've said that a lot. And then also, you got like Dreadnought, which is a nice tanking option. You have Comfy, which is a mill option. I don't know, that's not like a great mill option, but it's okay. Um, you have Bouffalant. I don't know which of those can be played with Pidgeot, but some will, and they'll be quite strong. Gravity Stone, 100% being included in the deck. That's a really good retreat stopping option. You can put on Mimikyu or like Iron Thorns EX or whatever, and all of a sudden be really causing massive issues on multiple levels to your opponent. So I think it's going to be really good. We got United Wings here. I guess it's D tier, like top of D. I mean, it's like not good because it's really bad against Dragapult, and it's bad against any type of spread deck, and it also just isn't good. I mean, United Wings doesn't have the tools it needs um, to win. I feel like you can't one-shot Charizard DX like ever. And Charizard DX can heal, so like it can heal off all the damage. It just doesn't do enough, which is an issue. And then it also has two prize liabilities in play almost always. So I feel like it's just not a good deck, unfortunately. I'm honestly not a big fan of United Wings. Anyway, I know there are some people who I know there are a lot of people who love it. It's not my personal favorite style of deck. It's like okay for me in terms of like fun. It's kind of fun, but it's just fun because it's like a rogue deck, not fun because it's like something I really love. But I know some people love it. A lot of people love it, so I'm sorry about that. But it's not great, even with Ditto being fixed and with the Dartrix. It's much better than it was, where it was like pretty bad. Not really like a meta deck at all. Now it is like something you could play. All these decks are really somewhat in the meta. Honestly, the decks it's next to aren't really meta decks, and the decks below certainly aren't meta decks though. But United Wings is a deck that's like loosely within the metagame. as opposed to just some like silly meme deck. So it's okay. Like if you're just a silly meme deck, you're not making it. I guess. And actually got the Regis with the speaking of silly meme decks, we got the Regis with the Regigigas, which if you don't know, has this ability. How to spell it? No. Oh wait, I'm searching in Japanese. I was like, why isn't it not showing up? So, Ancient Wisdom, once during your turn, if you have all the 5 other Regis in play, you may attach 3 energy cards from your discard to one of your Pokemon. It does not need to be a Regi. Normally you can't like have other Pokemon in play, but with Area Zero Under Depths, you can have 8 Pokemon in play. You have the 6 Regis. You have, oh sorry, 9 Pokemon in play. You can have the 6 Regis. You need a Terra for the stadium to work, and then you need some other Pokemon that you're actually attacking with. So I don't know exactly what's being paired with. I think this deck, like this is the definition of like a meme deck. It could be a good meme deck, right? But I think it's not going to be a good meme. I'll put it in bottom of C tier. It's like so like you need so many Pokemon in play. You need 8 Pokemon in play or something like that. That's like absurd. So maybe you'll pull it off. I don't know. It seems really hard, like essentially impossible. It seems funny if it works, but it seems really bad, unfortunately. Maybe we'll see new life breathe into the Regis, but I don't think it's gonna get there, unfortunately. I think it'll be okay. Might end up being like an okay deck at some point. Like make its way into B tier at best. I'll probably play out with like one of the Ogerpons and Radiant Greninja. You can put that in as like an actual engine piece, but it's not great. Then we have Galvantula EX. This one, I think it's played with Blissey EX. And Galvantula EX here says that it item locks for Grass, Lightning, Fighting, but that is payable with some like combo pieces, which I'm going to talk about. No, I'm not really going to talk about too much in the set, or right now. They are in the set, but I've talked about them in the past, and just know that it is payable. And what it says, 180, discard all energy, and you item lock your opponent. That's pretty strong if you're able to get it off. I'm going to put this in top of C tier. I think it's not going to be very consistent, and once you drop item lock for a turn, it's bad, right? Your opponent just plays all their items, and now all your turns, they haven't gone to waste completely, but it's not great. You are hitting good damage for item lock, but it's still kind of awkward. Then we have Hydrapple EX, which I guess you pair with TMS Ogerpon EX. It's just like TMS Ogerpon EX, essentially. It's another TMS Ogerpon EX. Its damage is calculated based on grass energy attached to all your Pokemon, and your ability does heal, but doesn't draw a card, which is actually probably worse, because healing like isn't that useful. It's okay, but it's also a stage 2, right? This deck's not that good in my opinion. I'm gonna put it top of D tier. I just don't think it's a very good deck, like at all. It's a stage 2 that's just like this mediocre stage 2, which like that's not a good recipe for success. The stage 2s that see play right now, you got Charizard, Dragapult, Pidgeot, Charizard, Dragapult, Pidgeot, which are all EXs. You also have Dragapults in this deck, maybe Hax is something you're copying. You got let's see, you might see like Luxray in one of these decks, but then you have single prize Luxray. Luxray EX could be played in Pidgeot EX. Then you have Archeops, which is hardly a stage 2, and it's really powerful too. Then you have Gardevoir EX, which is really insane, and Baxcalibur as well, which accelerate like all your energy. Here we don't see, I don't think, any stage 2s. We did see Magneton, but not anymore. And yeah, so those stage 2s that are seeing play are insanely good. And Hydrapple EX isn't. Its attack is okay, its damage is okay, its HP is okay, its ability is okay, but it's just not great. So I think it's going to end up being pretty disappointing to some people. I don't think it's that good. I'll be quite surprised if it's very good. I might make an overrated cards from the set, and if I do, that's going to be in it. Then we got ourselves Trapicos EX here. Or no, we got Slowking first. Slowking here has its attack, which copies. Oh, that's not English. It copies the top Pokemon of your deck that's not a rule box. You have you play it with Gardevoir EX. There's some like combo stuff. It's like kind of funny. It's kind of janky though. At the end of the day, it's pretty straightforward. It's just going to be, it's not straightforward. It's like clear that it's not going to be great. It's like a C tier, somewhere in here. I don't know. This is like a big mess of decks, but it's like kind of funny. You have access to Kyurem and then a one shiny attack. So Kyurem's really good. A one shiny attack's really good, but also like it's really hard to pull off. So probably just go with Gardevoir EX, which has a one shiny attack. No Kyurem, but you got the one shiny attack. Then we have Trapicos EX. Trapicos EX's first attack, 30. It cannot be used turn 1 going first or second, but it does 30 for each bench Pokemon, and you can have 8 bench Pokemon. There's also a bunch of other support, so you can be tanky, have a solid engine. It's okay, I think it's a solid deck. I'm going to put it in A tier here. I think I'll actually put it as the best of the big basic decks, sneaking its way into the top 5. But yeah, here you go. Here's my tier list for the decks in Stellar Crown. But anyway, subscribe if you enjoyed, and like, and comment down below any decks that you'd actually add to this tier list if I forgot any, or that I just like didn't. Well, this is not my tier list, but I think I covered all the decks that are meta relevant. There are some of these bottom decks that like I would not have covered. And honestly, I probably like forgot about United Wings if I hadn't made this tier list. But there's some really cool ones. But I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, joining the channel, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.